And we are live. Woo! What's going on, brothers? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? The Mad Professor is in the house. The Mad Professor is in the house. How you guys doing? Woo! It is a brand new year. It is a brand new year. Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. Yeah, the last time I talked to you, brothers, was on the cusp of the new year. Uh, yeah, on New Year's Eve, and here we are, guys. Here we are, guys. Thick into 2023. Good evening to all you brothers. Good evening to all you brothers, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I hope that you guys are well and prospering, and that you are looking forward to many blessings in this brand new year. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. I'm excited about this year, guy. I am so excited. I'm so excited. Let me tell you guys, I'm finishing my book. I'm doing the citations of my book. And I've got a deadline that I'm trying to meet right now. And I'm working overtime to bring this thing to an end, man, because I've been working on this book for a very, very long time. And I'm looking forward to getting it to my editor and having it out in print by 2024. And so I'm very excited about that. And so I want y'all to stay tuned. Stay tuned to the publications, my guys. Stay tuned to the publications. Stay tuned to the publications. If you guys are not aware, I have a page. If you guys want to read anything that I have published or written, um, you can go to academia.edu, and look for Ronald B. Neal. Ronald B. Neal. Just Google academia.edu, Ronald B. Neal, and it will take you to many of the articles I've written, many of the book reviews that I've written. These are materials that are public, guys. I just posted an article that, not an article, actually, I just posted a chapter, actually, that I had published in a book, in a volume on gender, religion, gender, and society, thanks to Rutledge Press. It came out last year, January 2022, and I decided to put it on my page this this year. And it's called Troubling the Demonic Heterosexual Black Masculinity, Anti-Blackness, and the Study of Religion in North America. That's the title of the chapter that's on my academia.edu page. So if you guys are interested in anything that I have written, you guys go and look for my page. So my most recent publication is a chapter that I contributed to a book that deals with heterosexual Black men, and I deal with the demonic conception of heterosexual Black men in America. And I might, in the near future, might do a live stream on that particular piece, so I can go into detail into the whole process that was involved in that. I don't want to give you the whole title of my book, but I'm gonna give you part of the title. The part of the title of the book that I'm working on is called Beyond Death in Jail. Beyond Death in Jail. It's a book about Black men, religion, and the 21st century. But the operative title is Beyond Death and Jail. Beyond Death and Jail. and you guys gonna look at it, and I'm looking at the last 10 years of politics in the United States. I'm very critical of Black Lives Matter and a whole bunch of things. So you guys be on the lookout for that. And I'm doing my citations right now and working hard to getting it in the hands of my editor. So stay tuned, brothers. Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. Woo, this is the Mad Professor in the house, in the house, in the house, in the house, in the house. Guys, let me tell you something. Tonight, I want to build on things that I've said. I'm not going to waste too much time. Build on things that I've said in previous videos and build on, hell, how I live in this world, man. Tonight, we're talking about passport bros. We are talking about passport bros, guys. And passport bros is a real thing. Passport bros is here to stay. Passport bros is not going anywhere. There's a lot of backlash towards the passport bros, which I love. Man, I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I love the backlash. And I've said this on my community tab. Man, I love the backlash against passport bros, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the reason why I love the backlash is because it tells me and it tells all of us that Passport Bros is a legitimate enterprise. It tells me, it tells all of us that Passport Bros is making a serious, serious dent in the world. And what I also love about the Passport Bros thing, the hashtag, which is all over the world now, is that now we have women. Oh, this is the beautiful thing, guys. This is the beautiful thing. Now we have women from other cultures. We have women from the Philippines. We have women from Brazil. And most recently, we have women from the continent of Africa, Kenya, and South Africa, Kenya and South Africa, who are calling for passport bros. Did y'all get that? Did y'all get that? That is that women in other cultures on other continents, they know that the passport bros exist. They know that the passport bros represent men who are getting a raw deal in the United States of America. Hold on, before I get any further, man, if you guys can see my avatar, put one in the chat. If you guys can see my avatar, I just want to make sure you guys can see me. If you can see my avatar, just put one in the chat, one in the chat. I want to make sure you all can see the avatar. I'm not going to show my face tonight because I'm going to do something that I haven't done before. I'm going to do something I haven't done before on my channel. And this is new. We can call it evolution. This is the evolution of the Mad Professor on YouTube. But at any rate, listen, guys. The women in Africa know that passport bros exist. Women in Kenya, women in South Africa, women in Nigeria, they know that we exist. And I'm sure that there are other women in other parts of the continent who know that we exist. They're making TikToks and everything. They want us to come to Africa. Thank you, brothers. I see the ones. I see the ones. They want the passport bros to come to Africa. They want the passport bros. And let me tell you something, guys. Let me tell you something, guys. Man, I was in Africa. I went to Africa two times within a 3-month period. I went to Africa 2 times within a 3-month period. And I'm getting ready to go back to Africa, guys. I'm getting ready to go back to Africa. I went to Dakar, Senegal. I went to the Republic of the Gambia. And brothers, I'm getting ready to go back to Africa, my brothers. I'm getting ready to go back to Africa. So if y'all don't hear from me for a minute, I'm gonna be honest with you. If y'all don't hear from me for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month or whatever. Y'all know where I'm at, okay? Y'all know where I'm at. I'm everything is already set up. Everything is already taken care of. I'm on my way back to Africa, guys. But the women outside the West know that the passport bros exist. What's going on, Tim Howard? There go my brother right there, man. That's my brother, my strong brother in arms. Tim Howard, that's my strong brother in arms right there, man. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I always appreciate your support, my brother. I always appreciate all of what you do, my brother. Tim Howard is in the doggone house. That is doggone right. That's right. You see it right there. Passport bros. But you got the women from the Philippines. You know who's going hard in the paint? Y'all already know that. The women from the Philippines are going hard in the paint. These women are going hard in the paint for passport bros. They know how Western women think about men in the West. They know it. They know it. They know it. They know it. They know the slander. They know the defamation. They know all of it. Matter of fact, they know all of the stereotypes that you're going to find on TikTok by these old busted, post-wall, tired Western women who think somehow or another that if they insult passport bros, and if they insult passport bros enough, that it's going to stop passport bros from doing what passport bros do. They actually think by calling us lame, calling us dusty, by saying that we are unwanted, by saying that we are unable to make it here in the United States, by calling us all sorts of names and labeling us criminals in so many ways. They think that if they do that enough, that's going to stop the momentum of the passport bro movement. But what they don't understand, I see you, Ron Howard. I see you, Christopher Clipper. I see you, absolutely amazing. I see you, Ab Media. What they don't understand, I see you, Dewan Hollis. I see you, Dre McMillan. I see you, Outlaw 720. I see you, Coach Lamont. I see you, Ron Matthews. I see you, Barry Little. I see all you brothers. I see all you brothers. What they don't understand, I see you, Art New Star TV. What's going on, brother? What's going on? Good to see you. What these women don't understand is that all they do is motivate passport bros even further. Even further, even further, even further. Continue. And I want them to continue to call us names. And what's so funny, I'm going to say, I said this in the previous video, but I'm going to keep on saying, I'm going to say this because it's funny. Man, you got these old busted, they are busted post-wall women, manless women, women who are obese, women who are lazy. Here's the thing, lazy. When y'all see the passport backlash and you see these women, these are the laziest women in America. And the reason why I say that they're lazy is because they're uncompetitive. They ain't got nothing else to do with their time other than create 5-minute, 10-minute, 15 videos giving their opinion on passport bros. It is pathetic. It is pathetic. A woman, here's the thing, a woman who has absolutely no problem attracting a man, a woman who has absolutely no problem getting a man's attention ain't thinking about passport bros. A woman who is able to turn heads every time she walks out her front door, who is able to turn heads whenever she goes to the grocery store, whenever she goes to the gas station, whenever she's working out, exercising at the park, or she's working out, exercising at the gym, a woman who does not suffer from any lack of male attention whatsoever, is not thinking about passport bros. She's not. She's not. The only women who are concerned about passport bros are women who no longer have any viable options. They don't have any viable options. They don't have any viable options. Ain't nobody checking for them. They're bitter. They're butthurt. They've made permanent decisions. They made decisions in terms of their reproductive choices. If you have one kid, two kids, three kids, they might have had the kids out of wedlock. They might have had kids while they were married and they got divorced, and now they're in a post-war condition or what have you in life. They cannot reverse their choices or what have you, and now they have to deal with full-blown adult responsibilities, and ain't nobody really checking for them. These are the only women who are talking about passport bros. These are the only women. They're the only ones. They don't have any options. And I can't forget about the women who have the negative attitudes. You see, it's not just the overweight. It's not just the overweight and the obese post-war women that got 2, 3, 4, 5 kids or whatever who poorly manage their lives. It's not just them. It's not just them. It's the ones who have horrible attitudes. They have horrible, they have toxic attitudes. They have man-hating attitudes. These are the women who do not know how to interact with men. These are the ones. These are the ones. These are the ones who have problems with passport bros. These are the ones, and I want y'all to listen closely. I want y'all to listen closely. You have a group of women out here, and because this channel is mainly for Black men, we're going to talk specifically about Black culture. You have a population of Black women who have grown up. They have grown up without any type of male authority. They have grown up with any type of male leadership. They have not seen constructive and productive men in their lives. They have grown up in households with bitter, busted mothers, bitter, toxic, busted aunts and older sisters. They've grown up in households full of bitterness. Bitterness. They don't know how to interact with men. They've never seen a functional male. There are women, there are Black women, they're in their 30s, they're in their mid-20s, they're in their 20s, they're under the age of 20. Yeah, I got to say, you have young black girls who are growing up, who are being raised by these bitter women, who are being raised in households where there are no male figures who represent masculine productivity, masculine leadership, masculine authority. The only thing that dictates the household is a bitter, busted, angry woman. And they pass those attitudes on to their daughters. They pass those attitudes down to their daughters. And the daughter can be pretty. She can be pretty. So you can have a very attractive young Black woman. She can be in her 20s. She's very, very attractive. Very, very attractive. She could be in her 20s. She could be in her early 20s, her mid 20s, or her late 20s. She's very, very attractive. She has never really sustained a long-term relationship. And the reason why she has never, ever, 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 ever maintained a long-term relationship is because she has adopted the horrible attitudes of the older women in the household. Her mother, who is by herself, her mother who's going to die without a man, die alone, her auntie She has an auntie who is in her 40s or 50s who basically drove every single man in her life away. They've driven men away. These are black women who have literally driven black men away. And no black man wants to deal with them, period. Okay? And so what they do is they spend the duration of their lives blaming their misery, their loneliness on some black man who did not live up to some particular standard or whatever. Okay? Bitter women. And they pass it on, they pass this stuff on to young women. So you can look at some of these TikTok videos. Some of these TikTok videos are being made by young black women who are attractive. I saw one, and you look at a travel noir. You look at travel noir, and what they posted a little over a week and a half ago. And travel noir, who picked up on Passport Bros because travel noir is about black people traveling and all that kind of stuff, and they saw an opportunity to capitalize on Passport Bros. Travel Noir, when they posted their article on yahoo.com, they included a TikTok video of a young black woman, very attractive woman, very attractive woman, who was crapping on Passport Bros. She was just crapping on Black Passport Bros. Very attractive. Physically, she was physically attractive. This woman was physically attractive, but her attitude was crappy. Her attitude was ugly. Her attitude was in the gutter. Her attitude was in the sewer. And these are the types of attitudes that drive men away. These are the type of attitudes. You can be a gorgeous woman. You can be, where's Kevin Samuels? Thank God bless Kevin Samuels and his memory. You can be an 8, you can be a 9, you can be a 10. But if you have a gutter attitude, if every time you open up your mouth and you interact with men, nothing but defecation comes out of your mouth, nothing but disrespect, nothing but condescension, nothing but vitriol, nothing but demonic language. If all of that comes out of your mouth, you will be guaranteed to live a life by yourself. You will die all alone. And these women, they grow up in these bitter, black, female-oriented households. What's going on, Bear Little? Glad you were here. They are no longer content with verbally attacking us. They are now becoming more bold and attacking us physically. That's right. Like the brother stuck with the bowling ball in his date. That is right. It is time to go. It is time to go. It is time to go. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. And this is what's so comical. Passport Bro material, my material, the stuff that I've done on Passport Bros, the material, the content is directed primarily at black men. It is directed primarily at black men. My channel is made for black men. My content is for black men. I travel, I go places, I give you receipts, and I tell you, brothers, there is another world for you to explore. I tell you that there is a different population of women for you to entertain. And these women have a different core cultural orientation in relationship to the Western woman. They have a different core cultural orientation. These women are not anti-marriage. They are not anti-relationships. These women believe in long-term situations. These women are not a part of a culture that constantly and incessantly attacks men, Black men in particular. I love being in Africa. I love Africa. I love it. West Africa. I'm just beginning. I'm just beginning my sojourn in West Africa, guys. I told you, I spent an entire month in Dakar, Senegal, and that was after taking one. I spent first. I spent 2 weeks in Dakar, and then I went back to Dakar, Senegal, and I spent an entire month there. And I'm getting ready to go back. And I also went to Gambia, the Republic of the Gambia. And I'm telling you, brothers, the man-hating culture, the Black man toxic culture that exists in the United States does not exist in that part of the world. Not only does it not exist in that part of the world, when I was in Rio de Janeiro, I went to Rio de Janeiro 2 times in 2021. 2 times. I took 2 trips back to back to Rio de Janeiro. There was no man-hating culture in Rio de Janeiro when I was there in 2021. So it's an easy choice to make if you have your passport. It's an easy choice to make. It's easy. It's easy. Now, what I want to do tonight, guys, what I want to do tonight, this is the first time I'm doing this. Thank you, Barry Little. I see BGS Ibmore, what's going on? See you all. Y'all share, y'all like, and subscribe. The man professors in the house. Y'all share and y'all like and y'all subscribe. You guys know that I'm a professor. You guys know I'm a scholar and what have you, but I want to take y'all back tonight. I want to take y'all back. Y'all see this thumbnail. Y'all see the thumbnail. The thumbnail, Passport Bros and the young Barack Obama. Passport Bros and the young Barack Obama. Passport Bros and the young Barack Obama. Guys, I want to take you back to the year 2009 tonight. I want to take you guys back to the year 2009. I want to take you back to that time when Barack Obama began his presidency. He began the first term of his 2-term presidency. But not only do I want to do that, or shall I say, as I do that, I want you to think about the psychology that existed in Black culture, particularly around Black female culture, around a person like Barack Obama. Salute to you, Dr. Thunder. Salute to you, man. Good to see you, man. Glad that you were here. Glad that you were here. And I want to get straight to the point. Let me get straight to the point, guys. Let me get straight to the point. Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, had he not married Michelle Robinson, the then Michelle Robinson, we have to go back to the 1980s, the 1990s when they first got married. Barack Obama, who raised in Hawaii, raised in Indonesia, Michelle Robinson raised on the south side of Chicago, from very, very different worlds, very, very different worlds. She had 2 Black parents. He had 1 Black parent, one from Kenya and one from Kansas, a Black father, white mother. I want to say to you guys that Barack Obama, when you look at his life, when you look at how he was understood in relationship to Black American culture, traditional Black American culture, popular Black American culture, Barack Obama was a classic precursor and candidate for passport bros. Passport bros. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? That had Barack Obama not married Michelle Obama, Barack Obama would have been a bona fide candidate for the passport bro movement. A bona fide candidate for the passport bro movement. And the reason why I say that, Barack Obama, let me say this about passport bros. The vast majority of the passport bros, and this is no shade, I'm not trying to talk down to anybody else, the vast majority of Black men who are engaging in the passport bro movement, they are a part of either the 20% of Black men who are at the top of the socioeconomic scale, or they are part of the 10% of the Black men who are part of America's socioeconomic scale. Many of the passport bros, the majority of the passport bros, are men who have careers, are men who are gainfully employed. These are men who have businesses. These are men who are in the middle class. They are in the upper middle class. And there are some passport bros who are in the upper class. I'm talking about class. These are professional men, men who are professionals. Barack Obama comes out of that cadre of professionals, professional Black men. I know he's biracial, but I'm gonna still call him, he's still a Black man. Professional Black men. College educated, Obama, Columbia University, Harvard University, professional, nerdy, geeky, technologically savvy, cosmopolitan, so on and so forth. Barack Obama. Now, there are other passport bros who are a part of the strong working class. We have passport bros who drive trucks, passport bros who drive trucks who are part of the 20% and the 10%. Yes, I said it. There are passport bros who drive trucks. There are passport bros who drive trucks who make upwards and beyond $100,000 a year. Yes, yes. You have passport bros who are in the high level skilled trades. We're talking about the welders. We're talking about the plumbers. Those guys. Those guys are also passport bros. The carpenters. The guys who do the dangerous work that nobody else wants to do, the heavy lifting of our society. Those who do heavy lifting who receive high rewards for their heavy lifting. So these are men who are basically, these are gainfully employed men. Many of these men are not tied down with debt. They are not tied down with debt. And if they have debt, the debt does not prevent them from jumping on the plane and going to Thailand, to going to Vietnam, to going to Cambodia, to going to any place in the world, going to Dakar, Senegal, where I have been, or to Ghana, or to Kenya, or to Uganda, or to Tanzania, or to Colombia, or to Venezuela, or to Peru, or to Rio de Janeiro, or to Sao Paulo. These men are the most stable men in our society, economically stable. That's right, water and waste. The black men who work in sanitation, they do the work that no one else does. They get exposed to all types of toxic stuff. They do stuff that they do the work no one else wants to do. And they have high salaries. That's right, Dr. Thunder, these passport bros they're not dusties. They're not dusties. They're just not. Y'all share, y'all likes, and subscribe. Y'all share, y'all like, and subscribe. But what I want to do tonight, guys, I want to share an article with you that was written. I want to share an article with you guys. I want to share an article, guys, that was written in 2009. I want to share this article with you guys. It was written in 2009, and the woman who wrote this article right now, this woman is probably she's probably in her late 40s. She's a Gen Xer. And this particular article, guys, this article that I'm sharing with you was written by a woman. Right now, she should be in her 40s, either her mid-40s or late 40s. She was a graduate of Harvard. I'm sorry, she was a graduate of Howard University as well as Harvard School of Law, and her name is Janae Desmond Harris. And this article was written, it was first published on June the 8th, 2009. And what I want you guys to do is I want you all to listen to how this woman talks about Barack Obama. I want you guys to listen to how this woman talks about Barack Obama. I want you to listen to how this is a black woman who talks about the prospects. This is back in 2009. This is before the Black Manosphere as we know it today. This is long before the Black Manosphere as we know it today. This was the time where black men continue to be assaulted. We were assaulted endlessly and relentlessly with all sorts of misandry, all sorts of attacks on our character. Y'all know the Root magazine, which I don't like, the Root magazine, which many of you all don't like. The Root magazine was notorious for just crapping on black men. And at this particular time, you had these professional black women who were continuing a trend that had began in the 1980s, professional black women screaming and hollering about how they can't find their ideal black man. And these women were constantly talking about there being a black male shortage. These are professional women, lawyers, women in media, women in academia, women all over the place in terms of the professions, single, educated. You know, these are the strong, I don't need a man. I can do it all by myself. This is the era when Beyonce. This is when Beyonce was at the height of her powers. This is when Beyonce was at this article right here was written at the height of Beyonce's powers. Beyonce and all that independent stuff and all that kind of stuff. This is at the height of that. And these are bourgeois, you had bourgeois middle class women complaining about being single. And if you listen to them carefully and if you took them seriously, their singleness was always attributed to this thing called scarcity. Scarcity, 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 scarcity. That somehow there was this deep, 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 deep shortage of Black men or marriageable Black men in particular. What's going on, Electrician 180? I see you, man. I see you, Electrician 180. I see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Y'all share, y'all like, and subscribe to Man Professors in the House. The Rock Magazine. Yeah, Ray knows. You know what time it is, Ray knows. But I want you to hear what this professional Black woman says about Barack Obama and what she says about what Black women can learn from Michelle Obama. And you got to ask yourself, why is it that she's writing this article? This is written in 2009. What single women can learn from Michelle Obama? What single women can learn. And I want you to think about this. Why are you writing this? Why are you saying this? What is it about Michelle Obama that separates her or that separated her from other women, other single women? She doesn't say single Black women, but she says single women. But really, the inference, the subtext is single Black women. The subtext is what single Black women. And let me just say this as we dig into this article. Let me just say this, guys. Let me just say this. I'm just going to put this out here. I'm going to put this out here. That Barack Obama did not, when he was at Columbia University, I'm going to put it out here. When Barack Obama was at Columbia University as an undergraduate student, and then later at Harvard University as a law student, Barack Obama did not fit the paradigm. He did not fit the archetype. He did not fit the ideal that existed in the culture, Black female culture in particular, with respect to what an appropriate and suitable mate is and should be for an upwardly mobile professional Black woman. And Michelle Obama, the product of a two-parent household, Michelle Obama, the product of a two-parent household, her parents were working class from the south side of Chicago. She came from a conservative, nuclear home, nuclear household. She was close to her father. She grew up with her father in the house. Her father was the patriarch. He ran the household. He wasn't a dictator. He wasn't a despot. He wasn't a tyrant. He was the leader. This woman who grew up in this traditional black household on the south side of Chicago who went to Princeton University. This woman who grew up on the south side of Chicago saw something in this guy, Barack Hussein Obama, that other people, i.e., in particular, the black females of her cohort, did not see. This is a post-war article, guys. A post-war. These are post-war reflections. This is the post-war professional black female watching TV and fawning over the relationship that Michelle Obama has with Barack Obama. We're going to walk through this right here. We're going to walk through this, guys. Now, this is June 8th, 2009. Barack Obama is already in the White House. America has fallen for the Obamas. The history, high glamour, the PDAs on the White House lawn. It is a universal picture of love. But for many successful black women, here we go, the strong, independent, and successful black woman. Here we go. But for many successful black women with college degrees, ambitious careers, and 5-year plans, that enchantment has become an obsession. Here we go. Oh, Lord. You know who we're talking about right here. We're talking about the boss chicks now. Here go the boss chicks. Successful black women with college degrees. Kevin Samuels. Where's Kevin Samuels? Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels is my God. I kept rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. He spent 2 years dealing with this phenomenon right here. These women are obsessed with this picture of love. There was a magazine that came out. It's no longer in existence. It's called Savoy Magazine. And Savoy Magazine back in 2005, this is after Obama had did, he spoke at the Democratic National Convention in 2004. That's what really made him a very public figure. Savoy Magazine, which is now defunct, it was a black magazine. They had him on the cover of, him and Michelle Obama on the cover of the magazine, and they referred to Michelle and Obama as the black version of the Kennedys. That is John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy, and people refer to them as Camelot. Look at this. Those of us hoping to find suitable mates in the dating landscape, here it is. This is 2009. That is, statistically speaking, y'all see all this right here? Pity grave and absolutely giddy about the very existence of the first family, and especially about the possibility that we can find in our own. Now, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. I want you guys, when have you known professional black women to be concerned about the family? When? This is 2009. Now we're looking back from the standpoint of 2023. You got a woman right here talking about black women who are professionals, and they are fawning over the first family. The first family, a nuclear family. I'm from Generation X. I'm 49 years old. I cannot tell you at any moment in my adult life, from my generation, women of my generation, have they at any moment, at any time, idealized the family. something that involves a biological man and a biological woman, two-parent households, and all of that kind of stuff. Nothing. They never talked about it. They never talked about the traditional family. The professional women in particular. Oprah never talked about the traditional family. Oprah never talked about marriage. Oprah disparaged marriage. Oprah's entire generation disparaged marriage. Ricky Lake, Rolanda, all of them crapped on marriage. But look at this. Those of us hoping to find suitable mates in a dating landscape that is, statistically speaking, pretty grave, are absolutely giddy about the very existence of the first family, and especially about the possibility that we can find our own Barack. Uh-oh, here it is. Finding their own Barack. Now I want y'all to put a pin on that. And I want you to ask yourself, what do they do? What exactly have they done historically in the past? And what have they done since that time in terms of putting in effort in finding their own Barack? I mean, putting in effort, okay? Now I'm going to go down. So here's what she said. She said, we give up 3 hair appointments in a row. Our designer puppies, oh my God. And that tropical vacation with our best grad food. Oh, he go to girls trip to meet a man like him. Let me look at this. Look at this sentence. We'd give up 3 hair appointments in a row. Lord have mercy. You know, that's a lot. These women will stop going to the salon. They would trade in going to the salon to secure what Michelle Obama secured. Our designer puppies, look at that. Shoes. And that tropical vacation with our best grad friends, the girls trip, they give up the girls trip. They would give up, guys, they would give up the girls trip. They would give up the girls trip to meet a man like him. I want you guys to laugh. I want you guys to laugh, because right here, we are talking about delusions of grandeur. We're talking about fantasies. We are talking about these are lazy women. I'm going to put it out here. These are lazy professional women. You have to really question what they say when they put it on paper, okay? And I want you to really think about everything that comes after that and how they imagine themselves with somebody like a Barack Obama, okay? And look what they say about him. Brilliant, confident, best smile ever, so into his wife. Brilliant, confident, best smile ever, so into his wife. I'm gonna tell you guys, I was a single man when I first saw this man. I've had on this article for years and years and years. I was a single man. I was a much younger man when I first read this. And when I read this the first time back in 2009, I was like, this is a crocker. This is a bunch of buoy. On the cover of April's issue of Washington Magazine, he appears, now here it goes, he appears shirtless to illustrate the publication's #2 reason to love DC, the District of Columbia. Our new neighbor is hot. He's the president now. He's the president. He's the president. This is a man who was already made. This is a made man. This is a made man. Guys, you know, in our space, we talk about how we talk about how many women, they love to be at the finish line. They want to be at the finish line. They want to be at the finish line. They want to be at the end of the game. You are in the Super Bowl now. You are in the Super Bowl. You have played a full 4 quarters. You have struggled in each quarter. You have done everything within your power to be victorious in this game. And then you are ultimately victorious in this game and you win the Super Bowl. Now, in order to get to the Super Bowl, you have to go through the playoffs. And before you get to the playoffs, you have to go through a regular season. You have to go through a long series of tumultuous events in order for you to find yourself in the Super Bowl. And once you have found yourself there and you struggle to become successful in winning the Super Bowl, what do you have? You have a whole bunch of people who are right there after the game is over, a whole bunch of people who want to bask in your glory. They want to participate in your victory. They want to suck in all of the success that you have right now as a Super Bowl champion. They are standing right there at the finish line. And there she is standing right there at the finish line. She didn't put any work in. She didn't put any work in whatsoever. No work. She was not with you when you were on the practice field. She was not with you when you were watching those films. She was not with you when you were taking those hits. She was not with you game after game after game after game, struggle after struggle after struggle after struggle. She was not there with you, but here she is at the finish line. She's right there at the finish line. On the cover of this magazine, she says that he appears shirtless to illustrate the publication for number 2 to Love DC. But if we first encountered him, I want y'all to get this. Y'all pay attention to the mouse. But if we first encountered him the way Michelle did as a regular guy, I need y'all to put 1 in the chat if y'all see this. But if we first encountered him, talking about Barack Obama, the way Michelle did as a regular guy. Look at this, as a regular guy. Y'all see this? If we first encountered him as a regular guy under the glow of office lights instead of the spotlight, put 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. Would he have made our list at all? I'm going to read that again. But if we first encountered him the way Michelle did as a regular guy under the glow of office lights instead of the spotlight, would he have made our list at all? Y'all hear that? Y'all see that? Y'all read that? I'm giving this woman props because she is being honest. She's being honest. This is written in 2009. She doesn't want a man. She does not want a man who is on the make. She does not want a man who is in process. She does not want a man who goes through the struggles of life. She does not want a man who is going through, a black man in particular, who has to climb a mountain and has to deal with obstacles as he climbs a mountain. A regular guy. She wants to deal with the man who was already made. Moreover, she not only wants to deal with the man who was already made, she wants to deal with the man who is already the recipient of social prestige. Because being made is having prestige, is having the spotlight. She don't want a regular guy. She doesn't want somebody who is just ordinary. Somebody who is building himself. Okay. This is passport bro ideology. We're talking about passport bros. Barack Obama and the passport bros. It takes time for a man to build himself. Here's the thing. Most passport bros, it is not surprising that most passport bros are over the age of 30. It is not surprising. The vast majority of passport bros on the internet are over the age of 30. And I would even expand upon it. And I would say, many of them, a lot of the passport bros, but just especially the ones who make content, these guys are at least 40 years of age. They're at least at minimum. The ones who make content on YouTube, they are at minimum 40 years of age. Which means that these are men who have lived life, which means that these are men who have gone through the stages of life. They've gone through the stages of life. These men did not become passport bros overnight. You don't become a passport bro overnight unless you just have a whole bunch of disposable income or inherited income that has been dropped in your lap. Unless that happens, it doesn't work that way. You have to build yourself up to that. So this woman says right here that Barack Obama, as a regular guy, was unattractive. He was unattractive. Unattractive. He was invisible. He was off the radar. And what does that mean? I'm talking about when Barack Obama was in college, he was unattractive. He was a regular guy in the eyes of men and women. Not all women, but this particular group of women, he was a regular guy. When Barack Obama, even when he was at Harvard, Law School, when he was with the law review, in the eyes of these women, he was a regular guy. And I'm going to put this out there because there were black women at Harvard. There were black women at Columbia University. There were black women at Harvard University, Harvard School of Law, when Barack Obama was there. And those women did not snatch him up while he was at those institutions. And you have to ask yourself the question, why didn't that happen? Now, I'm going to go further. So it goes on. Let's go on, guys. In the footage that plays when the networks mention how our cool young black president shoots hoops. Listen to this, guys. With his staff and friends on election day, Obama is close to gawky in a simple gray t-shirt tucked in just a bit too tightly. Obama is close to gawky in a simple gray t-shirt tucked in just a bit too tightly. Y'all share, y'all like, and y'all subscribe. Cash App $ BMI 3000. Cash App $BMI 3000. Between plays, you notice tapered pants pulled up a little too high. Look at this. She's talking about Obama style. I want y'all to look at this. They're talking about Obama style. What does she think about Obama? What does she think about his style? A slightly skinny build. In those few frames, he's not the hottest guy on the court, let alone in the country. Obama doesn't have any swag. Obama does not have any swag. When he appeared as a presidential candidate on the Ellen DeGeneres show, my initial swoon as he stepped on the stage was short-lived. Let me get up in here. So this woman is not impressed by Obama. This is the president. This is the pre-president. This is the pre-president, and then this is after the presidency. He playfully hip bumped the host in an overly bouncy dance routine that embarrassed me looking away. Suddenly, I was watching my boss get down at the company Christmas party or a friend dad grooving to earth, wind and fire at her wedding. Not bad. Endearing even, but swag did not spring to mind. This woman said that Barack Obama had no swag. Barack Obama had no swag. This black woman, this is a professional black woman who was basically saying that when she looked at Obama, when she looked at his optics, and this is after this man has become famous, basically she saw a swagless black man. This is a professional African American woman who has a bachelor's degree from Howard University and a law degree from Harvard University. And she's looking at a US senator who became the president of the United States. And she's saying that when she looked at this man in his newfound fame and status, that this man lacked gravitas, this man lacked swag, he lacked something which made him unattractive to her. This is an educated professional woman admitting this. This is 2009. This is 2009. This is the kind of psychology, guys. This is the kind of psychology, and I'm doing this because I need us to really talk about the future of Passport Bros and the dynamics, the mechanics that go into Passport Bros. And that Passport Bros is responding to a real thing. Passport Bros is responding to a problem, a real problem that it responds to and it solves in real time. Obama has no swag. Swag did not spring to mind. Sure, Obama is dad and boss to many, but I get the impression that he's been dancing like this his whole life. So basically, she's saying that Barack Obama can't dance. And because Barack Obama cannot dance, he is unattractive to her. And not only is he unattractive to her, but he is unattractive to other women, Black women in particular, who share her psychology. Here it goes. I've played matchmaker unsuccessfully. Uh-oh, here comes the matchmaker. Y'all get this. Here comes the matchmaker. I've played matchmaker unsuccessfully for scores of professional Black women. Uh-oh. Matchmaker. You go to matchmaker. This is 2009. This is a professional woman who has tried to play matchmaker for other professional Black women. And I want you to pay attention to what comes next. Because we've seen this, we've heard this before in the Black manosphere. This is a recurrent theme that never, ever, 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 ever goes away. This is why passport bros exist. This is why passport bros exist. Had Barack Obama not married Michelle Obama, Barack Obama would have been a passport bro. This is what she says. I am convinced that Michelle's got something on many of us. Not her intelligence or her confidence or sense of style, her glowing skin or carved silhouette of her arms. I could fill a room with friends who have all these qualities to spare. I'm talking about the choices I imagine, she made in those crucial moments between meeting Barack and deciding who he would be to her. Michelle Obama. Let me tell you something. I'm not a big fan of Michelle Obama, guys. I am not a big fan of Michelle Obama. She's a part of the gynocracy. She has many gynocratic tendencies and idiosyncrasies. I'm not a big fan of hers rather. But I will give her credit. I will give her credit. I will give her credit in choosing Barack Obama. I will give her credit in seeing qualities, attributes, and seeing a future in Barack Obama that the run of the mill African American professional Black woman could never see or refuse to see. She says, I'm convinced that Michelle Obama got something on many of us, not her intelligence or her confidence or style, her glowing skin or carved silhouette arms. I could fill a room with friends who have all these qualities to spare. I'm talking about the choices I imagine she made in those crucial moments in meeting Barack and deciding who he would be to her. She must have focused on an abundance of goodness instead of this hint of goofiness. She could have, listen to this, look at the cursor. She must have focused on an abundance of goodness instead of this hint of goofiness. In other words, he was awkward and fixated on a warm smile instead of a pair of oversized ears. This is how superficial a lot of the gynocrats are. This is how superficial they are. This is how thin and superficial. And we're not talking about Keisha and Tawana from the hood now. We're not talking about Keisha and Tawana from the hood. We are talking about the strong and successful Afro-American woman. She must have focused on an abundance of goodness instead of this hint of goofiness. She calls Obama goofy and fixated on a warm smile instead of an oversized pair of ears. It's easy to see how he was a great catch. But how many of us, here it comes, guys, pay attention to this, but how many of us would have been open to this guy who strayed so far from the Black Prince Charming ideal, starting with his very name? Look at this. I'm going to read this again. It's easy to see how he was a great catch. Now, this is a woman who's post-war, or shall I say she's hitting that post-war period now. She ain't got no man like Obama. She done blew her chances. But how many of us would have been open to this guy who strayed from this Black Prince Charming ideal? Y'all see this? She's talking about unrealistic, utopian, ridiculous standards right here. These are ridiculous standards. And this is why passport bros exist. This is why passport bros exist. Eugene Robinson of the Washington Post, he wrote a book that came out a year after this article, 2010, and the book was called Disintegration: The Splintering of Black America. And he has a chapter in that book called The Masters of the Universe. He has a chapter called The Masters of the Universe. And basically, he is talking about the elite, the Black elite. He's talking about men and women, those who are part of the upper echelon. And Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are part of that elite that he talks about. But Barack Obama became a part of this elite. Barack Obama was among the masters of the universe before he even met Michelle Robinson. He was among the masters of the universe before he met her. But when you listen to this woman, the men who find themselves among the masters of the universe, a good number of them, they're seen as awkward, they're seen as goofy, they're seen as nerdy, they're seen as geeky, and they're seen as lame. This is another way of saying that Barack Obama was lame in her eyes. She goes on, just as I picked at the less than cool undercurrents of their presidential pickup game and talk show dance party, Obama was on Ellen DeGeneres' show when it was at the height of its popularity. My female friends home in on the negative as they snub my suggestion. I want you to pay attention to all the superficial stuff that they outline right here. I want you to pay attention to all this superficial stuff. Listen, look at this. His toes were ashy. His toes were ashy now. You're talking about a man who's a part of the masters of the universe. He seems like he'd be a really cool friend, but I don't know, those lips. Look at all the superficial stuff right here. Look at all this stuff. This is a future senator or a senator, a living senator, a president, a living president. He was wearing a bubble coat, and seriously, it was not that cold. She's talking about these guys. Listen to this. Listen. Look at the descriptions. This is for passport bros. We had a good conversation, but I like a man to be more aggressive. We had a good conversation, but I like that man to be more aggressive. We had a good conversation, but I like a man to be, you can't even be civil with these women. You can't have civil discourse. This is before council culture. This is before they were talking about toxic masculinity and all this kind of stuff. Y'all share, y'all like, and y'all subscribe. Hit the Cash App, $ BMI 3000, Cash App, $ BMI 3000. I see all the super chats. I'm gonna get to the super chats in a minute. I'm gonna get to all my super chats in a minute. This is my first time walking the dog like this. She wants an aggressive man. This is ridiculous, guys. She wants a man who is not civil. You can't be nice to these women. You got to be an a-hole. That's what she suggested. Then she goes on. That was our second and last date. Look at this. That was our second and last date. He used the word authentic like 14 times. The man has a vocabulary. The man is particular about the words he likes to use. This was our second and last date. He used the word authentic 14 times. Look how superficial this is. How many times do I have to tell you I'm looking for someone tall and hot? She's talking about her friends. These are her friends she's talking about. Keywords being tall and hot. How many times do I have to tell you I'm looking for someone tall and hot? Tall and hot. Y'all see this? We've been talking about this in our space for more than a decade. This is why the Black manosphere exists. Remember now, all this stuff came out way before the Black manosphere. This is before the Black manosphere existed. Thank you, Jamar McMillan. Thank you for that Cash App, Jamar McMillan. You just came in, man. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that Cash App, Jamar McMillan. She wants somebody tall and hot. It goes on here. These are the superficial standards of her friends and her culture. He drank a hot coffee. He drank a hot chocolate instead of coffee. What is he? A 6'4", 12-year-old? I'm putting myself out there. This was my own reaction to an otherwise pleasant date just a few years ago. Look at this. I'm gonna tell you guys, this was written in 2009. This has not changed. This psychology has not changed. This is your Black female professional psychology. He drank. So you go out with a woman, you take her to a restaurant or you take her to a coffee shop or whatever, and everything is over with, you've eaten or whatever, and you decide to get something hot at the end. You get hot chocolate. I'm not a hot chocolate drinker, but let's just say you get hot chocolate. She gets coffee. She's looking at everything that you do. She is breaking you down. Everything. She's breaking you down. And you both belong to the same class. We're talking. These are professional people. This is your professional, educated class right here. The man likes hot chocolate. And because the man likes hot chocolate instead of coffee, somehow this makes him a child. This is the root. And these comments are echoes of my conversations in many communities of Black professionals. You're talking about women now. At brunches. This is how they talk. At brunches, bar passing celebrations, and housewarming parties. This is when they get together amongst themselves and talk about men. and talk about their dates with men and their interactions with men. This is what they do. In these comments are echoes of my conversations in many communities of Black professionals, Black women, at brunches, bar passing celebrations. These are lawyers. These are lawyers now. They done passed the bar exam. They're having a celebration. Just imagine a bunch of women celebrating their girlfriends who just passed the bar exam and housewarming parties. Somebody just bought a brand new house. Her girlfriend has bought a brand new house and they're having a big party and there's a whole bunch of women there and they sit around and they talk about men who they've dated and they're breaking all these men down. And these men are professional. These men are part of their social class. I think of my years at Harvard Law School, which has 150 Black students at any given time, a very small number. This is Harvard Law School. One would have thought that the Black Law Students Association was a group of first cousins. Dating among members was so unusual. Look at this. Dating among members was so unusual and so scandalous when it did occur. So you are in an arena of higher education. Finding a mate, historically and traditionally, happens within the context of your associations. It happens at church. It happens at school. It happens in the mosque. Kevin Samuels talked about this a lot. Kevin Samuels would talk to these women and ask them, what happened when you were in college? What happened when you were in graduate school? Were there not any men there for you to date and to be with? Were there not any prospective husbands there? That's what Kevin Samuels talked about incessantly when he was alive. Dating among members was so unusual. They did not even date amongst themselves. This is crazy. In these professional contexts, women are shaking with one hand and tossing men right into the friend zone. Oh my God, y'all get this. I'm gonna read this again. Now they're in school now. I want y'all to get this. I saw this. I was in graduate school at Vanderbilt University. I was at Vanderbilt University when I was in my mid to late 20s. And I cavorted with a lot of Black graduate students. And some graduate students got together. Many did not get with others. I'll be honest with you guys. I tried to holler at chicks in law schools, in other professional schools. We were all graduate students. I'm not a bad looking guy, I don't think I'm a boring guy. I'm a goofy guy, anything like that. But when I was in graduate school, those chicks, they didn't want to date. A lot of them hook up with fellow graduate students. And they were single, and a good number of them are still single to this day. In these professional contexts, women are shaking with one hand and tossing men right into the friend zone. So women are tossing men into the friend zone. So she's basically admitting that women have opportunities. Black women who go to graduate schools, even the ones who go to the predominantly white universities, the PWIs, they have opportunities, even though the populations of Black people are small there, including the number of Black men there. They have opportunities to hook up with other Black people. They have opportunities to hook up with Black men who were there. But what happens? These women toss men into the friend zone. They toss men into the friend zone. Across the country and over the years, the takeaway often has the same theme. There was not a single guy there I would date. Look at that. There was not a single guy there I would date. These women were in close proximity to the masters of the universe. Men with degrees, men with potential, and all that kind of stuff, bright futures, but they did not take those guys seriously. They didn't take them seriously. Unlike Michelle Obama. Yeah, he was tall, but his head seemed. Look at this. Look at this superficial. This is so superficial. His head was, yes, he was tall, but his head seemed a little small for his body. I want you to look at how superficial this is. It was loud in there, so I'm not sure. Did I detect a stutter? This is your ultra bourgeois woman. She wants perfection. She wants ultra perfection. Now she's not perfect. She's not perfected herself, but she wants ultra perfection. Did I detect a stutter? You're talking about these black men. And they say that black men are not in college. That was the narrative at that time. Black men were not in college. Black men were not in graduate school. That old tired narrative about all black men being in prison and all that kind of stuff. That was a tired narrative that they were pushing back in this particular time, which they still push today. Boy, was he sweating. He seems like someone who would like Star Trek. Oh my God. How many you brothers, you guys who like Star Trek, how many Trekkies are out there? How many sci-fi guys are out there? I want you to put two in the chat if you're a sci-fi guy. If you are a sci-fi guy, y'all put two in the chat. You got these bourgeois, ultra bourgeois females who see themselves as perfect. This is an ultra bourgeois female who sees herself as perfect. And she's looking for every small instance of imperfection in a man who comes from who's a part of her same cohort. Look at this. He seems like someone who would like Star Trek. My God. What's the guy's name who does ATL, the show ATL? What's his name? Donald Glover. She talking about Donald Glover, y'all. Y'all know Donald Glover? She's talking about Donald Glover, guys. Y'all know Donald Glover, right? Y'all put Donald Glover in the chat. Donald Glover. She's not checking for Donald Glover. He seems like somebody. He seems like somebody who would like Star Trek. He seems like somebody who would like Star Wars. He seems like somebody who would read comic books. Look at this now. We're talking about passport bros. This is why I'm going through this, guys, because I'm trying to show you guys why passport bros exist. This is why passport bros exist. We're breaking down the reason why passport bros exist. This stuff is deep. This article comes from 2009. This woman is talking about men who exist within the same arena as Barack Hussein Obama, who is now a former president of the United States of America, who married Michelle Obama. And the only reason why he's married to Michelle Obama is because Michelle Obama had the common sense, she had the smarts to snag this man up, to put her hooks in this man before he was in a position to be a bona fide, full-blown passport bro. We going on. She can't deal with dudes. She can't deal with the guys who like anime. You guys who like anime, she can't deal with y'all. She can't deal with y'all. Y'all like anime, she can't deal with y'all. She think you too goofy. You black men who are in an anime, y'all some goofy, lame black men. She goes on. I don't care if he can't see. Uh-oh. Now she's talking about the mad professor now. Now she's talking about the mad professor right here. She's talking about me. I don't care if he can't see. He should have left those glasses at the office. Look at that. I don't care if he can't see. He should have left those glasses at the office. Boy, she talking about the mad professor. She see me coming down the street. She see me walking down the hall. And I got my gazelles on. I got my glasses on. And automatically she puts me into the category of a goofy lame, which she finds unattractive. A black man that wear glasses. This is why I don't wear contacts. I don't wear contacts. I tried contacts one time. I tried contact lenses one time. It didn't work. I tried contact lenses one time. I said, you know what? I thought if I put on some contacts, it might change my aesthetic. I didn't like the contacts. I got rid of them and I went back to my glasses. Them contacts didn't last no time. Goodbye contact lenses. Thank God for my glasses. And it goes on. He was dancing, or worse, trying way too hard. Look at this. He was dancing. The man, he was a little bit offbeat in his dancing. Now let me look at this guy. Now he is, once they get beyond it, now she's going beyond all the superficial stuff right here. Now she's going to do a little data. Here she goes. Now this is how these females think. These professional women think. This is how they thought back then. This is how they think today. I don't mean to minimize the statistics that are baseline explanation for black women's dating difficulties. The statistics are so distressing that last year CNN dedicated an entire segment of Black America to the dilemmas of successful Black women. Oh my God, they just, I told you, man, this is an industry right here. This is a market right here. The dating dilemmas of successful Black women. Jesus, they kept throwing that stuff at us left and right. The Journal of Higher Education published statistics last year showing that less than a third of Black males who enroll in college graduate within 6 years, and that Black women outnumber Black men in higher education settings by 2 to 1. Okay, so you understand what's going on. That means that these guys are rarefied air. They're rarefied air, which means that you don't need to be taking them for granted. Between 1970 and 2001, the marriage rate for Black men and women fell by 34%. Things have declined since then versus 17% for the rest of the population. The most recent Census Bureau figures show that 70% of single Black men, look at this, for every 100, there are 70% of 70 single Black men for every 100 single Black women. Okay? Ain't nothing you can do about that. Women outnumber men all over the world. And those 70 men are not necessarily available. Uh-oh. Now they want to call us players. That was the main trope that they used, that we players. We don't want to get married. That we run away from commitment. We don't want to settle down. We don't want wives. We don't want families. We just want to play because we know that we got the pick of the litter. That was the narrative that they were pushing back at that time. Still pushing it. Now, the figure includes single men who are incarcerated. Only a small number, 1 million. We've had a consistent number of 1 million, 1.5 million black men incarcerated consistently over the decades. Over against, today you got 20 million black men. 20 million black men according to the census. 1.5 million out of that 20 are subject to incarceration or some form of criminal supervision. The same survey showed that 45% of black women have never married. Why is that? Compared with 23% of white women. All right, so you know the numbers. Y'all have known, they have known the numbers for years, for decades. The numbers ain't new. The idea that things are hard for black women who want to date black men who match us in academic and career success is a well-worn narrative. See, she knows. She knows the propaganda. She knows the propaganda. Y'all like, y'all share, y'all subscribe, get them likes up. Cash App, $BMI. I'm going to get to the super chats real soon. I'm going to get the super chats real soon, so don't go too far. I'm going to get to my super chats. But here's the thing. If black women are going to defy statistics, they need to start being more realistic. Uh-oh. Did y'all hear that? But if black women are going to defy the statistics, they need to start, this is written in 2009, they need to start being more realistic. Holding out for the perfect man, someone who was intellectual but not nerdy, oh my God. Cool but not arrogant, impeccably dressed but not effeminate. This is how absurd this psychology is, guys. This is absurd psychology. Impeccably dressed but not effeminate. This is what they did to Kevin. This is exactly what they did to Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels was impeccably dressed, but many people labeled the effeminate tag on him. Not a player, look at this, not a player, but with just the right amount of edge. Oh God. You can't be a player, but you have to have the right amount of edge. Is useless. You see how bizarre, you see the Twilight Zone psychology that existed then and even exists today within this culture, this black female culture. Smart can go with a little nerdy. Look at this, smart. You can't be no nerd. Artsy can be accompanied by offbeat. Ambitious and focused may mean less than a social butterfly. Lord have mercy. Good God Almighty. Let me tell you something, guys. You can't win. You can't win. You cannot become a master of the universe by being a social butterfly. I'm going to tell you that straight up, guy. You cannot be at the top of the game if you are at every social function. You cannot be at the top of the game if you are at every socialite event. You just can't. I'm sorry. You got to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined. You have to engage in delayed gratification. Long-term long-term delayed gratification. So you got to be, she wants you to be Tony Starks. Tony Starks. So Tony Starks has this IQ that is off the charts, but at the same time, he's a doggone sex symbol. That is very difficult to find in a single package in terms of a man. Bruce Wayne was like that too. Yet there was one guy in law school who was easily 6'5". He was easily 6'5", a Rhodes Scholar and a rapper. Look at this. Look at this. An anomaly. He was trying to fit in. There was a guy in law school who was a 6'5". He was 6'5", a Rhodes Scholar, with a baby face that thought things off. I'm not saying it's impossible, but please look at this. This is the absurdity of Black female psychology. Here it goes on. And let's be fair. We expect men to resist that society tells them about ideals when it comes to us. We expect men to resist. How many of you guys have bent over backwards in your lifetimes? I hope you young guys listen to me now, trying to appease the superficial, fleeting standards of this female. How many of you guys have tried to appease these standards? Especially knowing that at any given time, this female, she will move the goalpost. She will move the goalpost on your butt. We expect men to resist what society tells them about ideals when it comes to us. God help the brother who admits a preference for skin or hair displayed on every magazine color, or that arrogant fool who holds out for his own Claire Huxtable, not acknowledging that Cosby Show was a fiction. We are justifiably obsessed when unrealistic standards are imposed on us, but many of us don't seem to give Black men any breaks in return when it comes to the superficial. I have to give her props. I have to give this woman props. Black men are called superficial. When we do the rating scale, when Kevin Samuels did the rating scale, when Kevin Samuels would talk to these women, and he would tell these women, or ask these women rather, to rate themselves from 1 to 10, fresh face, out the shower, and you can't use 7. When Kevin Samuels used that scale, so many black women called him superficial. When Kevin Samuels asked his women to indicate their height, to disclose how much they weighed, he was called superficial. They were saying that he used superficial standards, and that these are the superficial standards of men. But this woman right here is admitting and confessing in 2009, that women are just as and even more superficial, if we're going to use that language, as men. She goes on, I was lucky enough to meet my beautiful, hilarious, and unfailingly confident boyfriend 2 weeks after arriving to DC to begin my legal career. He's a lawyer. By lucky, I mean I tracked him down in a giant parking lot. It's a grocery store. Tooting my horn to get his attention. Uh-oh, homegirl was on the grind now. She was out there. This is a pick me. This is a pick me. This pick me shit right here. I was tooting my horn to get his attention and asking if he was new in the neighborhood or needed a ride. It's your pick me right here. She's the pick me. Shout out to all the pick me's. Shout out to all the pick me's. Jason works for a nonprofit. He drives a rattling rimless Mazda, but this is old school right here. Homeboy was he was on the make. He has a particular pair of pants that were cuffed to ambitiously by his tailor, and he still wears them to work with determination because he paid for them. This man is a minimalist. She met a man who is a minimalist. She met a man who is a minimalist. A minimalist. Shout out to the minimalist black men. Shout out to all you black men who ain't out here trying to impress all these women. Shout out to all you black men who ain't out here wasting all your money on cars. You're not wasting all your money on depreciating assets. You're not wasting all your money on things that don't have a major return of investment and ROI. Shout out to all of you guys who are meticulous about how you spend your money. You're disciplined. Shout out to all you guys. You're not trying to impress. We ain't trying to impress no 304s. We don't impress them. We be ourselves. She goes on. He has long dreads that see neither a twist nor a drop of beeswax in between them the days I style them. I got to give it to her. You know, this woman is honest, and she, you know, she's telling you what she's doing to make things happen for her. If a tough pair of escapes, if a tuft of hair, excuse me, escapes a lock in the middle of his forehead, and I don't see him for 2 days, it sits in front of the center for meetings and happy hours and pictures. That half an inch of sock peeking out between his pants. Uh-oh. Here she goes. She's sexualizing a black man. Dr. T.S. Johnson just did a stream on the sexualization of black men. That half of inch of sock peeking out between his pants and shoes when he takes a long stride, and that rebellious tuft of hair might have led many of my cohorts to let him walk out of the grocery store without a second look. This is a scruffy guy. This is a scruffy guy, regular dude trying to just do his thing. She watched every inch of his person. They watch everything. They watch everything just like we watch everything. And they want to call us superficial. The point is simple. Given the numeric and historical facts, those of us who do not seek to have relationships with black men of similar circumstances might need to open up a little. Oh my God. 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 Kevin Sanders said at some point you got to make a deal. He told her. This is a woman who was she is postgraduate school. She's a professional. Postgraduate school, she's a professional. The dating market has changed. Once these women leave school, by the time you graduate from law school like she did, she's around 26 years old, 27 years old. You have to pass the bar exam. If you don't pass the bar exam the first time, you got to take it again. Some of these folks in her track, by the time they're 27 years old, they pass the bar exam and they go work for a law firm, they're a clerk or something like that. But this is a woman who's talking about her life in her profession. So, you know, we're talking about somebody who is either at 30 or in her 30s at this particular time. She's already at the wall phase of her life. And she has to make a deal. And part of the reason why she has to make a deal is because she, along with women in her cohort, friend zone men in their cohort while they were in college and while they were in graduate school. Because the men were simply not worthy and worth their time. And now you're a professional, and those men who you work with in the law firms, they might play with you, they might have sex with you, they might date you, but there's no guarantee that these men are going to marry you. It's not unusual for lawyers to get married. I've known lots of lawyers. I've known lots of lawyer couples in my lifetime. I've known lots of them. But I've also known women who went to law school, who became lawyers and professionals, who didn't find husbands in the realm of law, in their profession, who advanced in their careers as lawyers and remained single. So she goes on. And a lot of the time, those women have to, as Kevin said, they have to make a deal. They have to adjust. And the professional women have to make a deal. They have to adjust once they reach a certain age. The point is simple. Given the number and historical facts, those of us who do seek relationships, seek to have relationships with Black men of similar circumstances might need to open up. We need to expand. That doesn't mean giving up on attraction. Attraction cannot be fake or forced, and she's right about that. But we must start to question our assumptions about what our ideal really is. Rebecca Lynn Pope. Remember Rebecca Lynn Pope? She did that video 3 years ago. Over 1 million views. Kevin Samuels referenced it about the unrealistic expectations of professional Black women. She said she quit the matchmaking game because these women were unrealistic. And then April Mason came along and did the same thing. She said that she had to stop matchmaking for Black women because their perspectives, their demands were unrealistic. Why am I doing all this, guys? This is the passport bros. It's the passport bros. This is what creates a passport bro. This superficial nonsense which pervades not just Black female culture, but it's all over American culture. She says we must start to question our assumptions about what our ideal is. If a guy with a tentative smile, look at this, if a guy with a tentative smile and an awkward two-step could still get a dance, look at this, before he made the cover of every magazine, I'm going to read this again. If a guy with a tentative smile and an awkward two-step could still get a dance with her before he made the cover of every magazine in the country. He's talking about Barack Obama. This is before he became famous. This is Obama. More Black women might just find a relationship they could believe in. Let me read that last sentence again. If a guy with a tentative smile and an awkward two-step could still get a dance before he made the cover of every magazine in the country, more Black women might just find a relationship that they could believe in. What more can I say, my brothers? What more can I say? There is a reason why passport bros exist. Thank you, ghetto user. Thank you. Thank you, ghetto user. Thank you for that super chat. There is a reason why passport bros exist. This article was written in 2009. This was written in 2009 during the first term, just as Barack Obama began his first term. And this woman is from my generation. I don't know where she is today, but she is from my generation. But not only does she speak from the standpoint of women from my generation, but she speaks from the standpoint of women cross-generationally. And this is still relevant today because I'm a college professor and I've taught college students and I've taught graduate students for 20 years. And they have the same psychology when it comes down to their cohorts, men who they're around, the nerds, the goofies, the so-called lames. Thank you, Afro National. Irony is that the same masculine educated men they desire are the same they abhor. Passport bros exist because of this nonsense. This is why passport bros are here. Barack Obama, had he not married Michelle, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say this to you guys straight up. I am convinced that had he gotten, let me just, there are two things. Two things. I've been reading Obama's most recent book called The Promised Land. In the first chapter of this book called The Promised Land, Obama talks about basically his views on America and how his views of America are related to his own personal life, his own autobiography. And in this chapter, the first chapter of The Promised Land, he talks about the most formative experiences in his life. And he begins to describe his own psychology. And in this book, The Promised Land, Obama describes himself as a Sigma male. Before he met Michelle Robinson, he describes himself as a Sigma male, meaning that before he met Michelle, that he was on the cusp of living the life of a bachelor who was essentially, or who would essentially become a lone wolf. He describes himself as an introverted, I'm going to use it, an introverted quasi alpha. That's how he describes himself. A Sigma. He describes himself as a Sigma. The Sigma is not quite like the Alpha. The Sigma is not quite like the Beta. The Sigma is different. The Sigma is a combination of both. Sigmas tend to have an introverted style, an introverted style. They don't run with crowds. In the very first chapter, he basically tells the reader that before he met Michelle, that he was on his way to just living a full-blown Sigma life. Which for me says that he was a full-blown candidate for being a passport bro. That's one thing. That's one thing. That's one thing. Him being a Sigma type. The other thing with Obama was that Obama did not have to limit himself. Thank you, Big Kev. Thank you, Big Kev, for that super chat. Obama did not have to limit himself to Black American women. He did not. Barack Obama was destined. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not a big fan of Obama. I've said this in other spins. I'm not the biggest fan of Obama, but I have to give the man his props. He's a smart guy. He's a very accomplished guy. He's the kind of guy who was destined to be successful at whatever he did in life. I'm going to put it like that. Barack Obama was destined to be successful at whatever endeavor he pursued in life, okay? Apart from the presidency, apart from politics. And he's the kind of guy who would have and does rather attracts all sorts of people, attracts all sorts of women. Asian women would have knocked at his door. Latina women would have knocked at his door. Black women from the Caribbean and Africa would have knocked at his door. All sorts of women from all over the world would have knocked at that man's door had he not married Michelle Obama. Okay? All those attributes in that article, all that stuff that this woman talked about as being deficits. She talked about a guy like in Star Trek being a deficit. She talked about a guy being nerdy as being a deficit. She talked about a guy not quite being able to dance with rhythm as a deficit. She talked about a guy who speaks to women with civility as being a deficit. All those deficits that she talked about in that article, those things are assets to other groups of women on the planet. They're assets. She didn't think that he had enough swag. The lack of swag from a nerdy man is an asset to other cultures and other groups all over the world. Being a black man who is disciplined, who is high achieving, who is cosmopolitan, who is worldly, and what have you, that is an asset in the world beyond the small confines of this black female psychology. Thank you, Big Kev, man. We ain't worried about them, man. I ain't worried about anti-travel. We love the anti-travel propaganda, my guy. We love it. We love the backlash because it promotes the movement. It keeps the movement going. Y'all share, y'all like, and y'all subscribe. Barack Obama is the reason, Barack Obama, apart from Michelle Obama, is the reason why passport bros exist. The young Barack Obama. Because the culture of the United States is toxic. It does not endear itself to male achievement. It does not endear itself to men who have a global outlook and perspective on the world. You don't have time sitting around here trying to prove yourself to a population of Western femininity that does not have any respect for disciplined, patient manhood. In order to be a passport bro, you have to engage in delayed gratification. In order to be a full-blown passport bro, you have to be someone who lives a meticulous and disciplined life, especially if you're going to do it on a consistent basis. It is not an accident. It is not an accident. I said this, I keep saying, I'm going to say it again. It is not an accident that the vast majority of the passport bros are at least 40 years of age. It is not an accident. It is not an accident. Because if you have built yourself up, from the age of 20 to 40, you built yourself up professionally in terms of income, in terms of maturity and all that, you are in a wonderful, 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 wonderful position to live the rest of your life as a world traveler and to maximize travel. You ain't got to go on no girls' trips. We have men who travel in groups, but a lot of men don't travel in groups. Shout out to BMO. Shout out to the Black Man's Option. Shout out to Black Man's Option. I support men traveling groups. I support the Black Man's Option. Charles Tyler. All the BMO brothers. But many men, and I would dare say most men, don't have to depend on groups in order to travel. So the passport, bro, is a grown man thing. This is a grown man thing. And we are moving beyond the childish nature of Western culture, Western society. We refuse to negotiate with the childlike psychology that is here in the West. And I shared that article with you guys because I wanted to show you that this is something that we have been contending with for a very, very long time. There was no hashtag passport bros. We didn't have it. YouTube was still a new thing in 2009. YouTube was a new thing. Facebook was still young in 2009 when this article was written. Facebook was young, YouTube was young. There was no Twitter, there was no Instagram, there was no social media as we know it right now when that article came out that I just read. There was no way for Black men to talk to each other. There was no way for Black men to exchange notes. There was no way for Black men to pass information to each other, amongst each other, the way in which we do so right now. And today, because we pass notes and we talk to each other, we expose to Black men the many, many opportunities that exist for development and for happiness. And Passport Bros is one of those main things that point to and help us to understand the road to Black male happiness, BMH, Black male happiness. That you have choices, that Black men have choices. You have a choice, Black man. You live in a global world right now and you have choices. And it's up to you to exercise those choices. The market, the stuff that this woman described in this article right now, you don't have to be limited to this. You don't have to be limited to it. And all you young Black men, I want to tell you young Black men, you young Black men who are in college, if you're listening, if you're in your 20s, and I really want, I'm really targeting young Black men between the ages of 18 and 22. These young Black men don't understand how good they have it right now because they're getting this information at a young age. That they don't have to be limited and they don't have to relegate themselves to this narrow worldview that does not value them as human beings, especially as they are building and making themselves. This woman said over and over and over again that there's a preference for men who have already finished, who have already crossed the finish line. There's a preference for men who have found themselves in the spotlight, not men who are in the shadows. Y'all share, y'all like, y'all comment, and subscribe. Michelle Obama was a rarity, is a rarity. I got a book right now. I've had it for quite some time, written by a Black woman on Michelle Obama. And it came out around 2010, 2011, Michelle Obama and Black women, and how Michelle Obama is this ideal. And this woman right now is probably 60 years old now. Never been married, professional woman. And she's the kind of woman who made her choices, put men in the friend zone, and she's lived a post-war life for a very, very long time. Guys, I wanted to put this out here. This is my first time doing this on YouTube in terms of going through articles and what have you, going through a particular article. This is my first time doing this. I hope things came out with some clarity. I really do hope things came out with some type of clarity, guys. But I've been thinking about doing this. I have been thinking about doing this for a very, very, very long time and what have you. And I wanted to relate this to the passport bros. You know, in light of all the backlash, you know, and for you guys to understand that we are solving a problem. And I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna say this over and over again. The passport bros, if there's one thing that the passport bro movement does in terms of everything that's happening in the Black manosphere, is that the passport bro movement is a solution to a real problem. It's a solution. It's a solution. I don't worry about women in America. I don't worry about them. I don't complain about them. I don't worry about them. I might talk about them in certain kind of ways, but I don't lose no sleep over that. I don't worry about my happiness. I don't worry about a lot of things. I don't worry about the toxicity of American culture. I travel, and I said this to you before, when I was in Africa, West Africa, when I was in Gambia, when I was in Senegal, I told you, I said that me being in a different country liberated me from the toxicity of the United States. Going to a different country freed me up from all the negativity that is directed towards Black men in the US. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to see it. I spent an entire month in Dakar, Senegal. And I felt free as a Black man. Free. I felt free. And it wasn't just because I had a wonderful experience with women. It was just because I just felt free in a different culture that wasn't constantly fighting against me. I felt free. And I wasn't in a culture that weaponizes. Here's the thing, guys. I was not in a culture that weaponizes women against me. That weaponizes women against men. That weaponizes Black women against Black men. That's the big thing. American culture and American society, American politics, American capitalism weaponizes the African American woman against the African American man. And this is why going to a different culture and country is liberating. Because women are not weaponized against men in other societies and cultures beyond the West. Anywho, guys, thank you guys for listening tonight. Thank you guys for all your support, man. I appreciate you. I'm going to wrap this stream up. And I want to encourage you guys to get up out of here, man. Get up out of here, guys, if you can. Find your peace, find your happiness. Find your peace. This is not just about those of us who actually physically leave the U.S. This is an ideology. The Passport Bro movement is about a mindset. It's not just about leaving, it's about having a mindset. Travel ideology. That the world is bigger than this place that we find ourselves in right now. Much bigger. Jamar McMillan, thank you for that $10. Thank you for that cash app. It's a mindset where you're not limited by this geographical context. Dr. J, thank you, bro. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. You're not limited. Good to see you, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. We've been dealing with this for a long time. This is generational. Anywho, guys, I appreciate all your support, all your love, man. Stay strong. Enjoy New Year, man. And I will most definitely see you guys real soon. And I look forward to doing more work like this, man. Again, this is my first time doing the share screen and all that kind of stuff, man. But we're gonna do more in the future, man. Thank you, Michael Green, for that cash app, man. Thank you, Michael Green, for that, man. Anyway, man, this is the Mad Professor. I am out of here, guys. You all enjoy the rest of your night. Happy New Year once again, man. And I will see you real soon. And again, we do this in service of Black Men's Independence, BMI, Black Men's Agency, BMA, Black Men's Empowerment, BME, and most importantly, Black Men's Happiness, BMH. You guys take care, man. I will talk to you soon. The Mad Professor is out of here. Woo!